Hello, my darlings, and welcome. Hello to Tracy and Dan. Yan. I'm going to call you Dan. Welcome, welcome. We are going to be working on some a painting for my March pen pal cards and stickers. It's going to be a painting of the crystal Aquamarine. That's our crystal for March. Welcome to Meg and Red Lorraine. Hello, hello. These are some of our stickers for March. I have a little mermaid that I drew and painted. And a shell and a wave, little ocean scene. And our teeny tiny little aquamarine crystal. Gives you a preview of what we're going to be painting today. So if you hear any beeping, that is my iron. I'm going to be making my sigil spell bags for the month to go in my pen pal cards, and I'll be punching out some of my stickers for the month to go in my pen pal cards while we do our painting. So if you hear any sounds, it's my punching out and my iron beeping. How is everybody doing today? Channeled Wellness, welcome. Tracy says it's midnight here in North Wales. Oof. Well, I hope you're having a good evening. Red Lorraine says, I'm happy to be here, but I have work to do, so I'll be off chat. No worries at all. I know having a 4 p.m. stream Pacific time is not perfectly conducive to everybody's work schedules. So these little guys are the community sigil for the month of March. And for my sigil spell bag patrons, I iron these onto these little sigil spell bags. These are iron-on vinyl printable sheets. So this month's color is aquamarine to match my pen pal card, which will be the aquamarine crystal. There we go. There's one. These get popped into pen pal cards for my patrons each month. So I've been trying to match the satin bags to the artwork this year. Last year we had full moon paintings, and this year we have crystal paintings. And I think I'm going to be doing crystal paintings for the next, for 2027 as well, at least, because it's really kind of a fun way to make something to make a video about, as well as something that's fun to paint. And I'm learning gouache, so that's kind of fun too. Meg says, I'm doing good, though I think I overextended my back. I'm redoing my office and I'm close to done, but I have a goal of being done by the end of March. Well, be careful and be very tender with it. Whenever I get to that point where I know it's about to go, we got to be real tender. Heating pad. Helpful Naturals here. Hello. Tracy says, Aquamarine is such a beautiful crystal. So I am going to go ahead and start our little video here, if I can find it. There we go. It's me painting. And if you, like I said, if you hear any random sounds, it's either the beeping of my iron, or possibly it could be the punching of the paper for the stickers. Because I use this time to prep for my pen pal cards for my patrons. They get mailed out at the middle of the month, so if you want to jump in for a pen pal card, you can always do that at the beginning of the month and still get it. I know the satin bags, I'm really happy with the idea of switching over to satin bags this year because the colors are so vibrant in satin. So far we've had red for garnet, a bright pink for, or like a pale pink for rose quartz, and now we have this really pretty turquoise for aquamarine. Helpful says, did anyone watch the lunar eclipse last night? I did not, because it was, I think, 4 in the morning when ours was happening, or when it was happening here, so 3 or 4 in the morning was not optimal for me. I think we also had a bit of a cloud cover. A friend of mine did stay up to watch it, and I think she said there was cloud cover here. Did any of you guys watch it? It was the middle of the night here too, yeah. It would have been similar timing. Helpful says, I did catch the full moon, but it wasn't red yet. I'm learning how to work with gouache, and I think that I figured out last time that it's much easier to work with like a uniform pale background. The first 2 months when I was trying to do these backgrounds, I was trying to kind of do a gradient with like a bright center and then darker edges. And it was just a really difficult piece of artwork to send to the printer. So I decided that my backgrounds need to be more of a solid single color. Channeled Wellness said, I did see it, but it was foggy. And Den says, it stormed in Kansas where I'm at. Not great to stand outside and try to stare at the moon. Gotta just kind of soak up the vibes from indoors. Helpful says, next question, has anyone gone to see the new Wuthering Heights movie? No, I have not seen it. I do like the actress that plays the main character, but I haven't seen it. I probably will end up waiting for streaming on that one. I don't think I've been out to a movie in a good while. I really wanted to see the Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, but I wasn't able to see it the weekend that it came out, so I thought, well, we'll just go see it the next weekend afterwards. 1 week later, it was only in theaters at 10 p.m. There were no other show times. I'm not going to a movie at 10 p.m., sorry. Man, movies just don't stay in theaters very long anymore. You got to see them on that first weekend or else. I mean, if it's even remotely small or independent. Which that movie was probably a smaller, more independent title, if I had to guess. But I just love Sam Rockwell. I'll pretty much see anything that he's in. Helpful says, I'm a huge fan of the novel and the first movie with Laurence Olivier and Merle Oberon. I knew this one doesn't adhere to the book, but I liked it. Jacob Elordi, very easy on the eyes. Okay. That's a good recommendation. Ruth is here. Hello. Welcome, welcome. How is everything with you? I'm just ironing on my sigil spell bag, so if you hear the rustling of papers, that's what's going on back here. And the beeping of my iron. Ruth says, Amy, are you going to use these illustrations to make a book about crystals? Ooh, that's a great idea. Hey, maybe in a couple of years I could. Because I'm only doing one a month. So I'm going to be doing it for 2026 and 2027. I don't know if I'll go beyond that. But yeah, that would be 24 paintings. Right now I use this artwork as my my pen pal card art. So it does have a second life. And I put some stickers into my pen pal cards as well, so I use it on my stickers. And I also use it in my stationery for my pen pal letter. So everything is kind of all coordinated when you get your envelope. Everything matches and all that. I could definitely write a book after a couple of years, Ruth, because I research every crystal and make a video after this live stream comes out in a couple of days. There'll be a video about the magical properties of aquamarine, because I research each crystal that I paint. So yeah, I would have tons of information and all the research done. We just have to organize it and put it on the page. That's a great idea. Helpful says, this is the first movie adaptation that had Heathcliff and Kathy consummate their love. Oh my. It's too racy for the past versions, I guess. Yes, Tracy, I have a couple of people, one person in Singapore and 2 people in the UK that I send pen pal cards to. Absolutely, do send them internationally. I do not send my mystical mailbox tier internationally, because that would, the shipping on that would be more expensive than the cost of the tier. But I do the pen pal letters for sure. I think I can get away with, I'm not sure what stamps cost anymore. Are they 78 cents? I can get away with about $2 worth of postage to the UK. Talamita, welcome, welcome. They say, I look forward to your pen pal letter. Heart emoji. Thank you. Ruth says, you are great about doing your research. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating me. It takes a lot of time to get those videos together, because I always want to find a little bit of mythology, and I want to find a little bit of ancient history, and then I want to find the magical uses, and then I want to find the planetary correspondences and chakra correspondences and elemental correspondences, zodiac, the whole deal. I want to hit everything. If I'm going to do one video about something, I want it to be the video. Den says, stamps are ridiculously expensive. yes, I agree. I think are they 78 cents per stamp now in the forever stamps? I got some really cute ones this year. I buy all my postage at the beginning of the year for my pen pal cards. And I just spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but all at once, so it only hurts one time. And I don't have to do it 12 times a year. I bought some really cute ones that are folk art of flowers and animals, like little foxes and bunnies and stuff. So last year I had snake stamps from the year of the snake. I actually ended up using them all the way into February of this year, so I had a couple months left over. Tracy says, bye for now, need to go to sleep. Yes, go to sleep. It's late. Have a good night. Ruth says, I would mind the cost of postage less if the service were better. Yeah, I ordered some custom 3D printed items from Etsy a couple of months ago, And a few weeks ago, I got an email that said, your order has been delivered. And no, it had not. It was lost forever. I never got it. And as an Etsy seller myself, I did not go back to the seller and say, I didn't get it. Remake my entire order and send it again. Because it's not their fault. They sent it, they put tracking on it, they did everything they were supposed to, and the post office is the one that lost it. So I just have to count it as a loss. As an Etsy seller, if somebody tells me they didn't get the item, I just have to resend it out and eat the second item and the time it takes to make the item and the postage. So usually it's not even, it doesn't even become a zero, it becomes a negative to actually resend the item. So it's only happened to me a few times. But there's nothing you can do about it, Ruth. I know it does harm both the buyer and the seller, because if I don't resend it, then, you know, I get a negative review or something, or they complain to Etsy or whatever, and I lose my star seller badge or whatever happens to me, you know. So usually I just go ahead and send out again. It's only happened a couple of times, but how's everybody's weather doing? Is anybody getting some springtime? Finally? Or is everybody still in the depths of storms and snow still? Ruth says, it seems to be happening more and more frequently, and now routinely receive damaged packages. I do from Amazon. I have a much bigger chance of having something go wrong with an Amazon package than USPS. It takes a while to really see what's going to happen in the painting, because the first few layers are the dark layers, and then the next few layers are the light layers, and then it's a bunch of back and forth, trying to create something that looks like a real item on a 3D item on a 2D page. Let's see where we have very spring-like here. Ruth says it's very spring-like here, but we have snow on the way. Oh my goodness. And Helpful Natural says we've been having on and off mild weather. We'll have temps in the upper 50s, low 60s with thunderstorms. I'll take that over snow any day. Incognito, hello. Welcome, welcome. Incognito says, hello everyone, blessings. Hope everyone is having a good night. The painting is getting there. I've had a very productive day. It's these weird lunar energies. Whenever it's either a full moon or a new moon, I get bonkers amount of stuff done. Jadzia. Our snow is actively melting here, and I'm so sad. Oh, springtime is just around the corner. I have big plans for spring equinox. I got a 3-day pass to Disneyland, and spring equinox will be my 3rd visit. One was for the channel anniversary, the 7-year anniversary. And then one was for a friend's 50th birthday. And then my 3rd visit on the pass will be spring equinox. And I have a reservation to a fancy smancy restaurant inside the park that is very hard to get a reservation for, so I'm thrilled. It's a weird time. It's 2:15 for lunch, but it's a late lunchtime. But if you can get any reservation at all, you got to snatch it, grab it, and take it. So I'm just all a quiver about my trip on the 20th. Incognito says the wind here has been so cold in the day I don't understand. It's 27 degrees out and the wind is literally icy. Well, 27 degrees. That's below freezing. Telemita says, we've had warm weather in New Mexico. But then, just kidding, it's cold again. Laughing emoji. Ruth says, which restaurant? It is called the Blue Bayou. It's a restaurant that is actually inside the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. So as you are floating out at the beginning of the ride, if you look to your right, you'll see people dining in a little bayou restaurant. And it's a real restaurant, and those are real people. And if you're lucky, you can get a reservation. They only book 3 months out, so if you don't grab them real fast, then you just don't get them. Helpful says, I am looking forward to springing ahead on Sunday. Oh, is it already happening? I never keep track of that. I love that too, because then Arizona and California are on the same time zone, and I don't have to remember that my family's on a different time zone than me. Every time I drive out, I lose an hour. And I arrive an hour later than I meant to. Ruth says, I've always wanted to eat there. And Den says, where is the restaurant? Okay, so have you ever been to Disneyland and on the Pirates of the Caribbean? Aha, Incognito agrees. Yes, the blood moon energies feel like electricity. My dreams have been weird too. they're like blurry and I can't really see what's going on. Interesting. Ruth says, I wish they would quit mucking around with the clocks. I agree. I would love to just not ever change. Arizona doesn't change, so I'm only on the same time zone as them half of the year. And I always forget about it too. Hopeful says, I love having more sunshine. Okay, so now I'm punching out my stickers. So if you hear that sound, that's me punching. Judsia says, Ruth, same, leave the time alone. LOL. Yes, please. Yeah, it's weird to have sunshine and then the wind is freezing. I agree. Inca Dinka Doodle is here. Well, hello. Are you talking about the Blue Bayou? Yes, I was trying to explain where it is located. So if you get on the ride, because it says, Den says, no, they haven't been on the ride. So if you go on the ride, the first portion of the ride is just a little boat ride through the bayou, and there's a little bit of music. There's nothing exciting going on, and it's very dark. There's some fireflies. And if you look to your right as you are on the boat, you'll see a restaurant with people dining in it. And those are real people, and it's a real restaurant that you can get a reservation for. And then when you're dining there, you watch people in the ride riding by. So it's kind of interesting. I don't even care if we had them fall back or spring forward and leave it. Just pick one and leave it. I don't even care which one. The time change isn't that catastrophic, says Inca. It throws me off when one clock says one thing and another says another, but otherwise, yeah, for me it's just trying to remember that I'm different at a different time than my family in Arizona, but only for 6 months out of the year. So I leave my house and I'm driving to go visit my mom, and I'm supposed to arrive at 5 and I'm actually arriving at 6, or I'm supposed to arrive at 6 and I'm actually arriving at 7, and the gate is locked. Ruth says, I was so disappointed the cloud cover here came up just as totality occurred, and there won't be another blood moon for over 3 years. I think we had cloud cover here too. I didn't stay up that late, to be honest. I think it was 3 in the morning here. 3 or 4. Ruth says, I think the switching does us harm. Drives me nuts for sure. Helpful says, incognito, I keep a small amethyst crystal under my pillow. When my dreams get muddled, I recharge them and it helps my dreaming. And one of the things I learned about amethyst, or not amethyst, but aquamarine, is that it is similarly helpful with dreams. I found that out in my research this week. Ruth says, I'm going to be interested in your review of the food. I have been there. I have eaten there several times in my life, but I have not been there in years and years. So I don't know if they've changed the menu or not, but the Monte Cristo sandwich is my go-to. I can't imagine they would take that off the menu ever. They're pretty famous for it. Inca says, that first part where your boat is just sliding through the bayou is so smooth and calm. There's just crickets and ambling banjo. Everyone's always quiet in the boat to listen. I would agree with you there. That's why it can be part of the restaurant. The only time I would disagree is during grad week, when all the high school kids have come in a giant gaggle to the parks, and they're screaming their heads off at all times. Grad week is the worst time to go to Disneyland, and I've only gotten caught there a few times by accident. Now I always check. I say, let those teenagers have the park to themselves for a couple of weeks. Save myself the headache. Oh, Ruth Helpful says, apparently Canada is going to spring forward this year and leaving it there. No more falling back in the fall. Okay. Incognito says, I've been seeing videos of people saying not to make moon water because blood moon energy is chaotic. LOL, I made moon water anyway. Hey, you might need some chaotic moon water for something. Maybe you have a magical working that requires that. Or maybe that's just TikTok witches doing their TikTok witch stuff. I don't know. Inca says, I've never considered the change any great inconvenience. Well, my partner considers it a huge inconvenience and will not change our bedroom clock. So when I wake up, I actually see the wrong time. It's very silly. Ruth says moving to Canada suddenly gets even more tempting. You're hilarious. Where is the lie? Inca says, I find that bergamot oil really enhances the detail and colors of my dream. Oh, interesting. I have a big bottle of bergamot oil. I bought it for a video, and I thought I was buying one of those little 1 ouncers, and it actually ended up being like a 3 ouncer. I have more bergamot oil than I could ever use in my lifetime. I think in the first few years of having this channel, when I was doing all of the candle recipes and all of the oil recipes, I bought so many herbs and oils. It was a little bonkers. But now I can basically make or do anything I want to, and I don't have to buy anything because I have such a huge stash of everything. Ruth says, Monte Cristos were my mom's favorite sandwich. See, that's not something I ever have unless I actually go to Disneyland. I've never actually had it in a restaurant or at home. Falling back brings us to the original time. I'd rather leave it there, then it would only be light until 9 p.m. in the summer instead of 10. Yeah, one of the things I love about the summer is that late sun. Once someone in my boat said, leave a good tip to the Blue Bayou folks. A bit disruptive, but worth a chuckle. Oh, yeah, I would have laughed my butt off at that one. Order comes of chaos. Maybe it can be said that chaotic energy, in a way, enables order. Keep your chaos water separate. Do your chaos magic with it. Don't water your plants with chaos water. You might get like an Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors or something. Incognito says, Ruth, I know, right? But for some reason, spiritual guides decide what's the best time to show me stuff. A lot of stuff is revealed to me in dream time. I wish I could remember my dreams better. I know there are a lot of strategies to do that, but I have not so far taken the time to pursue that area. One of the things I found out about Aquamarine when I was researching is it's good for dream time. And my suggestion in the video was to make a little eye pillow with an aquamarine and a little bit of lavender and a little bit of chamomile. Jadzia says, I wish I'd thought of making chaos moon water. Well, we're still in the time period. We're still in the 3-day time period. You can make moon water right now. Absolutely. I did save a bunch of storm water too. We don't get a lot of rain or storms here. So when we do, I try to grab some and save it. I agree. Dan says, ooh, do you still make candles? I did actually pick up some paraffin to try and my hand at making candles that are not poured, but in molds. And I got a few molds, but I haven't started that project yet. Still sitting out in the garage waiting for me to find the time. Ruth says, my mom never made them at home either. Speaking about our Sammys. There was a restaurant in Redlands where we'd stop sometimes, and that's usually when she'd get one. Oh dear, probably not a good idea to turn it into an ice cube. Inga says, I used a spirit talker during the eclipse because I was curious to see how or if the energy made a difference, got more voices, and had weird dreams. Tell me, what is a spirit talker? Helpful says, my dreams have always been chaotic, but after I started putting amethysts under my pillow a couple of years ago, they've settled down considerably. I think if I wanted to do any divination or dream work, I would have to not use amethyst because mine are so forgettable. I need something that make me remember them. I need the opposite of amethyst. Sorry, some of my painting was a little off camera here. I think I pushed the record button when I thought that I was recording when I didn't think I was. And I thought I was not recording when I was erasing. So, a little bit of a skip in time there. Incognito says, visualization helps a lot with dream vision. You can also try meditation centered around the third eye or the crown chakra. Inca says, I'm beginning to structure the candle making unmolding series I mentioned previously. I'm getting excited about it. Should be fun. When you finally launch and do videos, then you'll have to let us know what your channel name is so we can find you and subscribe. Ruth says, I'm glad that you found something that contained the chaos. If I ever decide to get into my dreams, I'll probably need something to make me have some interesting ones. I agree. My dreams are pretty boring. I suppose any dream is a message, but from your subconscious, but my subconscious is just telling me I'm boring, I guess. Inca says a spirit box picks up electromagnetic energy and translates frequency into words. Oh, interesting. What stone is the anti-amethyst? Koishi, welcome, welcome. Labradorite, Caroite, and you can try to direct obsidian to show your shadow self in your dreams. I have a lot of Labradorite. It's one of my favorites. So if that's your recommendation, I'd be happy to try it. I think Labradorite might be the crystal I have the most of. I have a lot of amethyst, but Labradorite is up there. Helpful says, I mentioned earlier that I once tried obsidian next to my bed for protection, and it was a rough night. Tossed and turned all night, woke up sweaty and groggy. Maybe just put it in the corners of the four corners of your room or something so it's not right by your head. I don't know, just a thought. The Magic Crafter is here saying, I'm so talented. Thank you so much. I just like to try stuff, to be honest with you. It doesn't always come out the way I want it, but it comes out how I did it, and that's how I did it. Used to be worried a little bit more about perfectionism, and as I've gotten older, I have gotten a little less worried about showing everything perfect and just kind of showing everything real. Koishi says, I think lapis works too for being honest about your perceptions, and malachite is like that too, but for the heart instead of the mind. Yes, tonight is the third night of the full moon, plus the full moon energy lasts all the way until the last quarter, so you're fine. Helpful says, I will never use it for that ever again. Inca says, I dreamed I was Paul Drake's girlfriend, Paul Drake of the Perry Mason series. Red heart emoji. Ruth asks, how did that work out? He was kind of a playboy, as I recall, though he always treated Della well. Inca says, the only thing I know about amethyst is that it's reputed to prevent drunkenness. That's true. By dropping one in your glass. Then what prevents choking? Kiyoshi says, I have nightmares for as long as I've lived, so I have a massive protection altar that's been growing for months, and even that won't stop it. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is where I went a little overboard with my mermaid. And I was like, I'm going to put red lips, and I'm going to put a cute little pink cheek. And later on, you'll see I paint all the way over that because that was like a creepy mess. I don't know what happened there. So ignore that because I just wiped that away. Wish the spring in this sticker puncher thing wasn't so darn loud. What crystal supports the Heimlich maneuver? You guys are so funny. Ruth says, I like these ocean-themed paintings. Yeah, I was trying to go for ocean because of amethyst. I'm sorry, I keep saying amethyst when I mean to say aquamarine. It's very ocean-themed. It's interesting how later in history it got a reputation for having the ability to cure poison. So royalty would have goblets made out of aquamarine stone so that they couldn't be poisoned to death. I guess you wouldn't want to make an amethyst goblet because then you could not get drunk on any alcohol that you were drinking, and then it would make what would be the point of drinking. Yeah, you can see it now. I'm looking back up at the painting and I'm seeing that I painted over her face. All that pink, what a mess. I kind of didn't think the paint pen would be that bright. I was hoping it would be more muted, but you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. anti-amethyst was something to excite dreams. Were you saying labradorite for that? Red calcite is great, a great stone for physical strength, and so is garnet. Enchant the Heimlich maneuver with those. Koishi is our new resident crystal person. They have 10 books or more on crystals that they're always looking at, they say. Inca says, yes, Paul Drake is a bit of a wolf, but he was my wolf in that dream. Heart emoji. Yeah, he was the tall, handsome one. I remember watching a lot of Perry Mason in my youth. I did not see the reboot. I think they did a reboot. It might have been on Apple, or was it on HBO? Inca says, is that what amethyst is for? Well, then perhaps the anti-amethyst would be ambition-charging stones like bloodstones. Telling me this is, I love the theme for March. Yeah, it came together kind of really well. I'm just starting out with these printing, sending these postcards to the printer and actually having them professionally printed instead of, last year I did a handmade cards, and that was good, but to be honest, I thought my paintings would have looked a lot better if they had been professionally printed, because my printer can only do so much. So I decided this year to get everything professionally printed. And then I decided that I was going to learn how to paint gouache. So it's a learning process. But so far I'm pretty happy with how they're turning out. And by the time I'm done, there'll be a 24 card series. So I do the one main image, which is my crystal, and then I do 2 backup images, which are for my stickers. So far, that's been turning out pretty well. Oh my goodness, I got behind on chat. Sorry if I missed chat. Helpful says, stones like carnelian and tiger's eye are opposite energy as they promote high energy and action-oriented vibrations. Yeah, I could see carnelian for sure being the opposite of the calm amethyst. Carnelian is a fire stone for sure. I think carnelian is going to be our stone of the month. It might be June. Maybe July. One of the summer months, I think I put it in. Ruth says, I liked his sass too and his competence. Yes, he always came through at the last second with the information that Perry needed. And then he would walk up and whisper it in his ear, saving the day. Hanka said, I never met a stone I didn't like. Koishi says, oh, Tiger's Eye is psychic protection. Yeah, it's kind of a warrior stone. Yeah, I think. I know carnelian is for sure. I always associate Tiger's Eye with Sekhmet, the Egyptian goddess of kicking everybody's butt, I think is the technical term. Oh, yes, he had a brain and he was street smart too. Oh dear, there I go. 2 heart emojis. The heart emojis are expanding. Ruth says, I have a terrible habit still of picking up rocks. I have no idea what most of them are, but I like them. Koishi says, if only my dreams about Marissa Kirasame weren't all nightmares about him running away or being lost in a dark place with him. Heartbreak emoji. I'm sorry about your nightmares. Good sleep is so important. Incognito says, I'm planning on having some herbal tea under the moon tonight. I love a full moon ambiance so much. I just always feel like super overexcited and productive, and like I'm just constantly on a little bit of a buzz. Tried to put some blue paint in her hair to try to give like that blue-black look to the hair, but that didn't come out. It was a good idea, but didn't quite translate. Koishi says, we might not be talking about the same generation here, but in my generation, he's the best absolute genius and too fast and busy for me. I feel like I need to do some research after the stream. Hey, look, the video's over and now we're back to live. So now the weird sounds are going to be making a little bit more sense. If you've been listening to the of it all. I got all of my sigil spell bags done. Look how pretty they are. And now I'm getting all of my little stickers ready for my pen pal cards. Oh yeah. I did 3 versions this time. I tried using that shiny vinyl stickers, and every time I punched them out, they cracked. So after 2 months of trying that and failing, I've finally given up. We're doing matte stickers because they cut out better. Helpful says, getting good sleep in our current environment has been a real challenge. Absolutely. I can't do any social media before bed. Or if I do, it has to be cute little pictures of turtles eating hibiscus flowers and cute little baby goats jumping up and down, that kind of stuff. Inka says, I love rock shops. I always stop when I find one and I always buy something. Even those little scoops of tumbled rocks are fun. I love those. I have so many scoops of tumbled rocks from Disneyland. It was a very witchy thing to be able to do in Disneyland. You could fill a bag, like a little black velvet bag for $5.99. But after they reopened after the pandemic, all of those little tumbled rock areas were gone. There were 2 at Disneyland and 1 at the other park across the way. Because they didn't want people with their COVID germs running their grubby little hands in amongst the stones and then passing the germs on. It's like all the buffets closing, you know? Ruth says, I also tend to feel buzzed around the full and dark moons. I get uneasy during the gibbous phases. I don't know why. I've never noticed if I do that. I might have to look out for that. Kuishi says, when the moon is in Taurus and Scorpio, sometimes I'm very stressed. Even when it's not the exact square with my 20 Leo moon. Those bags are a perfect color. Yes, I thought they were really accurate. And then I make the sigil on black, and then I make the blue color as close as I can to the color of the satin so that it kind of looks like it's almost peeking through the black. I fake it. Fake it till you make it. Inka says, they're such fun. My most frequented one is the rock shop at Calico Ghost Town in Yermo. I'll always have a special place in my heart for Calico. For me, it's Quartzite in Arizona. They have a festival every year. They have all the vendors out, but you can get stones there year round. Still have a big bag of garnets that I need to do something with from Quartzite years ago. Oh no, did you hear that banging sound? That's my cat. She wants me to go and feed her. Ruth says, it's dinner time at the old homestead. Everybody take care of yourself. See you later, Ruth. I'm almost done here too. I just got to stamp out one more strip and then we'll call it a day. Good timing, actually. I almost had all these done during that video. Just enough to end on this last strip and say goodbye to everybody. Helpful says, my favorite crystal shop that was just a couple of miles away closed up when the owner retired. I've yet to find a new shop to frequent. I don't really have one here in San Diego that I go to. I really do not need to be buying any more crystals or gemstones. I have enough for like ever. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Got all of our stickers done, all of our sigil spell bags done. Yeah, a lot of good work done. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you coming by our next live stream. Let me look at the calendar here. It's going to be, what is it? Today is the 4th, so would it be the 18th? When is the third Wednesday of the month? I don't have my calendar in front of me. It's going to be on the third Wednesday of the month, and we are going to be doing the craft project that I was supposed to do last month, but I was sick, so I had to cancel. So I'm pushing it forward. It should be a shrine to the Greek god Ares. And I think we're going to be going with a lot of dark reds and burgundies and making it really wartime chic. So 4 p.m. Pacific time on the third Wednesday of the month. Well, I hope you'll join me for the next live stream. Lilith Rise, welcome. They say, thank you for cleansing my feed. You are so welcome. Telemita says, have a nice evening, everyone, with hearts emojis. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. And I will catch you all on the flippity flop.
Thank you.